Hi, Mark Walters here. Thank you so much for joining me on today's first lesson of our 5-day free course on how to make money in real estate. Today's first lesson is for absolute beginning investors so that we can start to focus in on what resonates with you when it comes to real estate and how you want to make money in real estate. So if you and I were sitting across the desk from each other doing a one-on-one coaching session, this is what we're going to be talking about right now so that we can start to give the overview of a foundation for what it is that you want to ultimately do with your real estate investing. So in today's first lesson, we're going to talk about some of the choices you have, and then in the following day's lessons, we'll go into a little more detail so you can start to feel comfortable with this, feel good about this, and start to have fun with this, because that's really what it is. First and foremost, as real estate investors, we're merely trying to solve problems and help people. And when you start to realize that that really is the type of business you're putting together, it's something you can feel good about and feel proud of. So let's talk about the 3 most popular ways to generate income as a real estate investor. It all starts with the exit strategy. Why are you buying the property? What are you going to do with that property? And how are you ultimately going to profit with that property? So it's not a mystery in the very beginning. If you're able to make some money at the end, let's start with the end and then reverse engineer it. So each step of the way, you know you're doing things properly so that you have the best chance ultimately to get to that profit. And the more the better, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to share before we jump into the 3 most popular exit strategies for real estate investors is always get the deed to the property before you do anything with that property, especially in today's new wholesaling climate. So I always stress to get the deed. That way you can prove that you're buying these properties, you've taken legal title to these properties, and then as the property owner, you've liquidated them however you want, or you've kept them. So with that firmly in place, let's talk about exit strategy number 1, and that is the wholesale flip. That's where you're getting a property at a deep enough discount, and then you are flipping it to another investor who's paying you a little bit more, and then after your expenses, you're taking a spread of what that profit is, and then you're doing it over and over again, hopefully. So you're finding end cash buyers, investors that are looking for certain type of properties in certain type of areas, so you know what type of marketing you're going to be doing to try and uncover those kind of properties so you can be fulfilling the demand of these wholesaler investor cash buyers. These are active cash buyers that have end users of their own that they are then looking for properties to fulfill their demands. So all you're doing is finding a cash buyer that is a real estate investor. You're finding out how much of a discount they need and the different type of criteria that they need so you can structure your purchase to be able to ultimately get a profit from that cash buyer. That's the wholesale flip exit strategy. Exit strategy number 2 is the wholesale flip. That's where you're selling the property to a retail buyer, somebody who's buying the property to live in it, and they're willing to pay closer to a retail price. And depending on what stage of the real estate market we're in, they might be more willing to pay a high retail price, or maybe it's going to require a little bit of a discount if the market is slow. Either way, when you've got a situation where you are wholesale flipping the property, you have to work into your numbers some holding costs. Because unlike the wholesale buyer, who's an investor buyer, who's got cash and they can close quickly, a retail buyer, they've usually got to find financing that they qualify for. It goes through underwriting and it can take a while to close. Now that's not always the case, but that's pretty standard. So you've got some more holding costs as you wait for the deal to close. So just work that into your numbers. Exit strategy number 3 is buy and hold. It could be that as you're marketing for bargain houses out there, you find properties that are really attractive. They're in neighborhoods that have a lot of demand. There are a lot of amenities around that keep people wanting to live in those areas. You've seen appreciation possibly in those areas, and people just want to live there. And that's good when you want to rent out a property because people want to live in these certain type of areas. So it could be that you are keeping some of the properties that you find, the cream of the crop, so that then you can turn around and rent those properties out. You'd only do that if the numbers work, if your overhead is being covered by the rent coming in or more, so that you've got a positive cash flow coming in. Either way, with any of these three exit strategies, as I mentioned in the beginning, you're first getting the deed to the property, so you or your company is the legal owner on record. So then as the legal owner, you can do what you want with the property. The numbers are going to tell you what exit strategy some of these deals may best go into, and your heart tells you the kind of deals that you'd most like to do. Now, if you uncover properties that need a lot of work and you don't want to have to do them yourself, it could be that you've got cash buyers that are wholesalers that are also rehabbers looking for properties like that so that they can then fix them up and they can sell them. So those are the three most popular exit strategies for real estate investing: wholesaling to another investor, wholetailing to a retail buyer, and buying and holding the property to rent it out for your long-term wealth creation. If you liked what we've shared so far, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of my future lessons. In the next lesson, we're going to be talking more in depth about how to wholesale real estate, because nowadays it's really important that you do it the new way, not the old way, because there are a lot of regulations that have now come out and are starting to spread across the country. So let's talk about wholesale flipping so that you know how to do things properly, because it could be that your marketing is uncovering these type of properties and you'd like to cash out fast. So join me on that lesson so we can continue the conversation. Subscribe to the channel. I've also got a free book below on how to find funding for your real estate investing, which is one of the biggest questions that I get from subscribers. So definitely take advantage of that. So join me in the next lesson so we can start talking about wholesaling real estate, since that is so popular right now, so that you know you're doing things the right way. I'll talk to you in the next lesson.